Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. In whatever part of the world you are, welcome to Psychic Talk. I'm your host, Priscilla Gendron, and joining me today is a plethora of guests. I'd like to welcome my wonderful co-host from Spiritually Raw, Jay. Welcome, Jay.
Priscilla, how are you? Nice to see you.
It's wonderful to have you as a co-host today. And we also then have a very, very special guest. And so I want to introduce Sissel Andersen, and she's a bit of a trailblazer entrepreneur in her entrepreneurship and her personal development and health. And she's a very dynamic entrepreneur and very devoted mother residing in the picturesque landscapes of Norway alongside her partner, Espen. And as a proud mother and grandmother of two wonderful grandsons. And Sissel's life is an inspiring journey filled with a passion for travel, exploration, and building meaningful connections. And her journey in the world of business has taken her to some incredible places, which has led her to have a transformative turn that she's embarked in a new chapter with a wonderful product called ASEA. So without further ado, welcome, Sissel.
Thank you very much. I'm so privileged to be here. Thank you very much, Priscilla and everybody. Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us. As a spiritual being, I always look at all the spiritual aspects of where we go in our life, in our world. Would you like to maybe just share with us a little bit about the journey that you've taken to where you are now? What sort of led you to this point?
So are you asking me?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, okay. So I've always been a helping person. I've always thought the body is my for the rest of the life. So I've always been thinking I need to take care of my health instead of having to repair. And when I find something that I really, really enjoy and like, I share it with others. And I think if I can do something for others, if I can bring hope, if I can add value to others, then I just need to do that. And that's what I've been doing in the last 9-10 years. Absolutely fantastic to do. And I also feel that I'm growing my own spirit and my own well-being in helping others to discover what I've discovered.
Yes, you are helping others.
What was the sort of turning point in your life that sort of led you to change the path that you were on and then embracing the journey that you took in, as I think, 1992, was it?
So the very first time I started doing something for myself, I've been an entrepreneur since 1987, actually. So it's quite a long journey. And I've built traditional businesses in normal ways, but I found I needed to be more my own boss in my own life. I needed to take charge of my own freedom. And, freedom for different people are different things. But for me, it was to be totally independent financially, to be a really good, healthy person without any medications, things like that. And, I think that's what I've achieved. I'm 60 plus years now, and I feel better than I did 20 years ago because of the journey I've done and all the things that I have added to my life and my working life and my personal life and everything. So it wasn't a specific thing that changed, but it's something that has sort of, I've been very conscious about this, and I've added a brick at a time, sort of. And this is where I am now, and I can only see a very, very bright and good future. So
well, you look incredible for your age.
Yeah, for sure, right?
Thank you.
Priscilla, I want to thank you for giving me the privilege to co-host with you on this super important thing. And I really had the privilege of meeting Sissel several times. And really what I wanted the reason we wanted to have her here today is to really talk about people and the hope that's available for people, right? The hope that's available from a spiritual place, from a mind, body, spirit place. So over the last couple of years, through our research, as you know, through our show, we came across this, you mentioned it earlier, is we came across this ASEA, right? And so what we noticed was this, and I think your audience a lot of them can relate to this, is that there was that feeling of the ascension symptoms coming along. You know, everybody's feeling like, my body's feeling very dense. I need to get it lighter, or, you know, they're not really connecting. They feel disconnected and really out of sorts, if you would, out of balance, right? So I know that at a personal level, you know, April and I started taking the ASEA. Okay, it's in a blue bottle, kind of like the Palladians, right? So that we started taking the ASEA, and what I noticed right out of the gates was my intuition just kind of exploded right out of the gates, right? And I felt a sense of, and I remember telling April, I was like, you know what? I feel incredible. I said, I don't know what it is, but I feel incredible, right? And so I started really going down that journey. And throughout a couple of years of this is so important. I really hope that people watching this can really hang on this one for a minute, because this very well could be the solution that you may be looking for. But then I noticed other things started to happen. I noticed like my hair growing back. I noticed my skin getting tighter. I noticed the things that would cause me discomfort. You know, you know, I do a lot of athletic stuff, if you would, and they weren't causing me any discomfort anymore. My performance levels were there. As a business person, holy smokes, that's another thing. Is like my business, you know, with different things, my connection with my businesses was just incredible. Everything I was getting seemed to line up very well, and I removed the other stuff out of my life to say, okay, well, let me just see what the hell this stuff is, right? And see how it works. And I removed it, and I started taking this, and I was able to identify, look, this right here is the magic. So I wanted to really, you know, Sissel, you know, you're on the advisory council of this company. And you know, people talk about it, and you know, because there's so many different products and things like that. My personal opinion that I share with people is like, well, this really doesn't belong in the same aisle as other products. It's like a whole league of itself. Can you help us to understand the phenomenon, what's happening when we take this, and how this transpired? What are we going through as we're starting to ingest this, and why is this, which many people are already starting to say, the breakthrough of our lifetime?
So in my world, I just call this the fountain of youth, and that's how it all started with me. So 9 years ago, I saw some pictures actually on Facebook that really triggered my interest, and it was pictures of living blood cells under the microscope, and I started to take the product myself. And what I started to realize was that I've slept better, I had more energy. It was like a consistent energy, not ups and downs and like that. And as I've been older and older, I just feel better and better, and my skin looks better and better, you know, so it's both for the inside out and outside. So in many ways, so there is something called redox signaling molecules, and I don't know how much in details I should go, but redox signaling molecules is something that is native to our body. It's something that our cells are producing from before we are conceived until we die. And when we get older, from puberty and onwards, our bodies are producing less and less of these molecules. And we can see that the body takes more and more time to recover after injuries, or after workout, or after a long day, or a long week, or a long month, or a long year. But when you start to refill your body with these molecules, it gives you energy, it gives you stamina, it gives you mental clarity. It's absolutely like the fountain of youth in my world. So of course I can go into very detailed information, but I think maybe for this, maybe this is enough. I don't know. What do you think, Jay? Should I mention more?
I think the thing that we want to, and I appreciate that, and kind of tag on what you're saying. What I learned about it too, Sissel, was kind of like, you know, imagine a lifetime where we were born here, and whatever you believe in gave you one tank of gas and said, okay, good luck to you. You know what I mean? And as you age, kind of like what you were alluding to, as you age, that tank of gas goes down, 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 down. Now, and then that's where the aging process begins. That's where the discomfort begins. That's where the uncomfortable stuff comes in. That's where the stuff that doesn't make you feel whatever at your best performance comes in. So what happened was, this is like the first time ever, which allows us to put gas back in the engine. I mean, is the best way I can kind of connect with it. Not being a scientist, but really allowing you to put gas back in the engine allows you to come back to life. Sissel, you said, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're to your grandmother." Oh my gosh, it's like you said that, and I'm 53. I feel like I'm 23, and I didn't start taking this because well, let me do this. I was like, well, why not? I was like, let me see how it, in life, you want to try to feel better. Let me see how this will work. I was getting frustrated, Sissel, Priscilla, with the fact that because we have a show and everybody sends us stuff to try. At one point, I was on like 12 different supplements. And I was like, I feel kind of good, but I can't identify why I feel good. And I was always afraid to take away that one thing because it could have been that one thing that made it all work. So I kept taking it all. So when I started taking this within probably about a month, I would say, organically, naturally, maybe 2 supplements I was taking. And I'm not suggesting people don't take their supplements, do what you have to do. All I'm saying is that I instinctively, my body knows what it needs. This allows me, and if I need something else, it's like my body's very intuitive. It's like I'm very connected with my body for the first time at a much different level. I'm not just a body. I'm listening to it. It tells me, hey, you need more of this. You need more of this, and it guides you properly. It's a very unique experience that happens. Sissel, I hope I gave that justice, but that's how I explain it.
I totally agree. And also when you're talking about science, the company behind it's the same name as the product, this product, ASEA. They have done so much research and the science is so big. So when I started almost 9-10 years ago, there was only a few peer-reviewed articles, but now there are so many. So the science is back, of course, and is there. But what people really, really needs to know is that this is like aging backwards. This is reverse aging, anti-aging, really from the inside out. And one thing is that you can also see it on the outside, but honestly, the look is not the most important for people, in my opinion. I mean, what's happening on the inside, how you feel, that you feel strong and energetic, and you sleep deep and sound, and that's the most important thing, I think, for most people. And then it will also, of course, show on the outside, of course.
Completely. Is there anything to the fact, Sissel, like the fact, okay, so this is from, again, how I understand it, is this is communicating with cells and saying, okay, so for example, as we age, if the cell, and this is how I'm understanding it, and please help us on this, is that it's communicating with the cell. So if the cell has an issue in a certain area, all of a sudden, as we age, the communication to the cells gets weaker and weaker. What this is doing is it's making the signaling to the cells louder. So if I've got an issue, let's say in a specific area of my body, it's like all the immune system or all the workers in the body go right to that area and they light it up like a stadium and they say, go to work here. So it's like now the immune system knows exactly where to go and it brings all of the workers together. Does that?
Exactly. It's so well explained. So, I mean, the body is the miracle here. The body is supposed to take care of all the issues that happens through life and also through aging. And if you can sort of imagine some kind of Wi-Fi network inside your body, we know how the Wi-Fi works if you only have 1 or 2 dots on the Wi-Fi on your phone. The signal is really not good. But if you can get a bigger and more amplified signal, and that's what's happening when you put these molecules back into the body where they belong, because you used to have a lot of them up to puberty, and from puberty and onwards, you are starting to lose at least 1% each year. And if you're on medication and do a lot of bad stuff as well, you might lose even more each year. So you can imagine as 60 plus years like me should maybe only have 50% or maybe even less than that left. But I feel like a young girl again. So yeah.
Priscilla, it's incredible. I mean, it really is.
It is. It's absolutely fascinating. So can you tell me a little bit more about sort of like the history of how ASEA started and what brought them to this discovery? Because, it's almost like the fountain of youth, as you were saying.
Absolutely. So it all started as a medical biotech company many years ago. That company called Medical Discoveries Inc. And they did research on lung-related issues. And they had different projects running side by side. And one of the projects were redox signaling molecules. And they saw that this was helping for lung-related issues like COPD, asthma, HIV, and different issues with the lungs. They started an FDA approach with the product, and it was meant to be medication, but that companies started to struggle financially, so they needed to sell some of their project. And luckily for us, they sold the redox project. And it was bought from by a father and son, Tyler and Verdis Norton. They bought this promising technology before it was actually finished, and before the molecules were stabilized, and before the technology was patented. They bought this promising technology as a business event. No, a business investment, I'm sorry. And they were able to finish it. And then they wanted to sell it to Big Pharma. But they saw so many lives being changed with the test groups that they had. So I'm making a long story very short now. So they saw so many lives being changed with the technology. So they decided not to go with the Big Pharma that they were offered a big amount of money from. But you know, with Big Pharma, they might pick one diagnosed and give that product to that diagnosed, and maybe it's not even going to be sold. But this product is now being used by the fittest of the fit and the sickest of the sick and everybody in between. So this is helping our cells communicate, just like Jay said. It's helping our body to work more like it did when we were 15, 20 years younger, maybe. Not overnight. So this is not like the magic pill or a injection or something. This is going to take some time. And as you heard, Jay said, maybe a month, maybe 2 months. And I've also heard of people who have a really breakthrough after 3 months, but they are severe breakthroughs. So yeah, that's the story behind. So when they turned down the offer from Big Pharma, they decided after a lot of evaluation to go the way with direct selling and the way we call the word of mouth. Because these products are so special, you need some kind of explanation to really understand the benefit of it. Because if you put it in the shelf in a store, not a lot of people will understand what it is, and people employed in stores don't have time and cannot explain things on a personal level. So it's not too well. You need to explain it a little bit.
You know, if I can tag on that, Sissel, for 1 second too, is that you're 100% right, because this is because generally when people are watching these kind of videos, my experience is they rush to the website, they buy it, and they let me buy. What you're saying, and Priscilla, what I think is really, this very well could be the solution that people are looking for in their life. It could be the thing that makes it all work, gives them the reset button on life, helps them live younger, longer, right? So absolutely, I really would recommend people reach out and contact and get Sissel to walk you through it, because we don't know what we don't know. That's reality, right? So if we don't know what we don't know, like I said, you walk in a store, you see, well, let me try this. And if you're not doing it right way and you don't know how to do it to help with what it is, then it didn't do the thing you needed to do. But if you understand how to use it properly, it very well could be such a game changer for you. So I'm glad you brought that up, Sissel. I know that's a thing for people, especially when you do look at breakthroughs, if you would, or something that, you know, sounds too good to be true, but often breakthroughs really are, right? They're just, you know, that's just how it works. But yeah, definitely, I would reach out. Priscilla, I also noticed, like, you know, you and I are both in the world of abstract, eclectic, spiritual, all that stuff like that, and a lot of the spiritual guides, the healers, if you would, one after another report, they're coming back with so much consistency when they're using this, or saying, you know what, they're saying this to us, myself and April, hey, our readings are like, they're off the charts. We're so much clearer. Our discernment meter is so much better than it ever was. You know what I mean? And it becomes such a consistency. Something's happening. Something that this father and son was able to grab their hands on and let it be available to the rest of us. Something happened like that is allowing us to really now experience this next wave, this energetic frequency that's happening, that allowing us to adapt to it with comfort and not discomfort. So it's a pretty amazing thing, and that's how, you know, really it's almost like we're out here And I really kind of dragged Sissel out here and said, please, share this information with us, because it's like a responsibility at this point in time. This is not a product. This is a responsibility. That's how we're looking at it.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree.
There definitely has been a huge shift in the world in terms of how people are taking care of themselves and taking care of their health, and how much more responsibility they are taking within what they're doing health-wise. They're stepping away from the big pharma, and they're going more towards things that are much more in line with their own spirituality, mindset, things like that. And so this kind of filled that gap, and it allows us to take it and say, okay, this is going to help me on a much deeper level than if I did go and, get my Tylenol or whatever it is that I'm going to take, kind of thing. You're going to have a much more long-lasting effect on our body than just what we're going to get from. Not to say that you shouldn't take any, regular medication if it's meant to be for your body, but this definitely helps and aids in a lot of wonderful healing that can happen on a structural level.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. It really does.
What we also see is that people that do take medication or other things, it might very often work better. So they don't need to take so much when they have these molecules also. When we are children, we don't get that easily sick for a period. And if we get sick, it heals much quicker because the body is able to take care of it better. And we see that people with problems taking absorbing nutrition, if they drink this drink, they might also feel they are absorbing more of the nutrition, and that goes also for medications. So if people want to sort of keep their medication at least low, it would also be smart to take this because the body works better, so it's absorbing much more. So I mean, honestly, I think we should stay away from medication if we can, and that's why I also really, really love this product, because I'm not on anything. A lot of friends on my age, they have a lot of different prescriptions, and I don't have anything, so I'm happy.
Sissel, Priscilla, if I can just share a brief story. My mother, she's in her mid-80s, and just constantly, because of the system, right, and the meds and everything, just not in the best state of well-being, let's call it, you know what I mean? And feeling like sense of like, like not in great spirits, depression, if you want to call it. Anyway, long story short, she had ankle surgery, and they put her in a room, like a nursing room, if you would, a nursing home, if you would, for about a month or two, actually 2 months, I think, for recovery. And so my mind, I thought, all right, well, this isn't going to end well. You know what I mean? Because I know my mom's personality. She's not in depression. I said, she's just going to sit there. It's going to make her feel bad, and everything's happened. So this lady, for as long as I know her in my adult life, and I could say this because I tell her this story all the time, and she's fine with it. It's like I'm going to talk about you on air. And this lady through my adult life, who just has always felt the sense of depression, was in this nursing home in a bed for approximately 2 months. Gave her 8 ounces of this a day, rubbed this on where the doctor did the surgery. And let me tell you what, I walked in the room because I was seeing her every day. I walked in the room at her age. She's happy. She's playing games with the nurses. She's laughing. She's in great spirits. There's nothing. There's no sense of sadness. There's no sense of anything. Everything's, I'm like, I gotta go. She's like, oh, I'm gonna be great. I'm getting my hair done over here. This is a woman that never spoke like that. This was the thing. I can assure you, because I know what she takes. This was the thing. It made it something connected. You know what I mean? So, it really is just, people think about, oh, well, we get through this phase of life, oh, we're just going to chronologically get older. And just because the number says we're older means we're older. And that's not the truth, Sissel. You know what I mean? It's not. It's like, I don't see that. It's like, that's just a number. This does. I visibly have seen this reverse the aging process, not only myself, but immediate family members too. So, it's the kind of thing that keeps me out here talking about it.
And people, they keep asking me, so Sissel, do you think it will help this and that and so and so? And you know, they ask me all these kind of diagnoses. So we don't say this cures or heals any diagnosis or sickness or illness. It's simply giving the body the energy to heal itself, if you may say like that. But I always answer, so is there a cell involved in this issue you are talking about? And yes, of course, I mean, we are all cells, we are trillions of cells. So yeah, it will probably help. So why don't you give it a try and see what happens? And they are so surprised. And Jay, you showed this. We haven't actually talked about this. So this is topical version of the drink. So the drink is for the inside out, and this is for the outside in. And this is also a lot of athletes also using this for sore muscles or hurting joints or headaches or whatever. But I use it for my skin.
Yeah.
And also on the neck, of course. So it's a multi-purpose gel without any odor. It doesn't smell anything. It's really clean, simple, but so effective.
So effective. Yeah, it's not greasy at all. You know, I've used it I put it on my hair, and you know, I live in Florida, and you know, you get bit, you know, by mosquitoes and things like that. I rub it right on, it's gone. It's a sunscreen. Oh, you know what? So we live in Florida. It's hot. It's the sun's here, and I have to tell you something. When we met you in St. Thomas, we used this. We didn't use sunscreen. We used this.
I don't even.
And nothing. No burns. Nothing. And you're brown. You don't have the redness. Nothing. This is incredible what this is doing. What's happening? Is this simultaneously as the sun's burning us? Is it healing us at the same time, Sissel? Is that what's happening?
I'm not quite sure what it does, but it really works. And also what we see is that you're getting a more golden
Yes.
tone in your skin when you're using this.
Yeah.
So it's probably optimizing your body's or your skin's ability to handle the sun. Of course, we don't recommend people going in the sun and burning themselves. But if you do by mistake, this gel is absolutely wonderful to help heal that burn also and stop the hurting. And people also use it for hurting muscles and joint, as I said, especially if you apply it 3 times in 3 times in 5 minutes, it's really relieving a lot of discomfort. So what it does for the sun, I'm not quite sure, honestly, but maybe you know that. I don't know.
It works.
Yeah.
That's the miracle of this stuff. There's something new every day coming about it. And, you know, I love the fact that, you know, and I'm speaking with people every day and that are using this. And there's what's so profound, Priscilla, is it's not another lotion, potion, or shake. You know what I mean? It's not another, you just buy this or for this or that for that. People are saying things to us like, I found my purpose. I know what I need to do in life. My business is better. My life is better. My relationships are better. So there's that physical, but then there's also that psychological benefit that's happening here. And I guess like you said, Sissel, you know, we're all cells, so it's activating wherever cell we got, wherever the cells, wherever we need it the most, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, I think also when you're looking at it from the point of view of what's been happening over the last couple of years, it's so important to realize that, you know, when you're talking about the cells and the regeneration and the healing of the cells, when that starts to happen, it does have a euphoric effect on the body, which then enables the body to think in a different way. So the better you start to feel, the better you start to think and feel, and your emotions change and shift. Because if you're walking around in constant pain, or you can't get out of bed, and then you know, there's all this depression around you, whatever is ailing you, by changing that and changing that part of it, it changes how you then think and you perceive. So in a sense, it does affect you on a mental, emotional way as well.
Yep, I love it. Some cool stuff's are happening. You know, I say to people, I'm like, look, you know, if you're at that, you know, people know who they are watching this. I mean, they know what they're taking, they know what they're not taking. They get a sense of what's happening. And, you know, I noticed that too. So if you're like one of those that keep trying things and stacking things one on top of another, and just trying to find that breakthrough, this is like I guess how you say, Priscilla, maybe like a delivery system. It'll help all that all of what you're taking be better, so then you can sort out maybe what you need or what you
Exactly.
don't need. And, you know, so it really helps at that level. I just think, you know, everybody, you know, if it were up to me, I would say everybody run like hell to get your hands on this, because I believe you know, this is the breakthrough of our lifetime. And if you can get it for real. Get it, but get it through a trusted source, okay? And a trusted source means talking is like Sissel, okay? Your WhatsApp would be available, Sissel, for them to get you there
Yes,
too?
will
Okay.
be under, yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, definitely get it from a trusted source, so you can kind of talk through with someone, say, this is kind of what I got going on. What's your scenario? And then more information be given to you. That's what I would do. I wouldn't get this if you weren't getting it from a trusted source, because that's all we know. Like, all we have in life, right, Priscilla, is our
Yes.
ability to be able to help each other and kind of say, look, this was my experience, and maybe this will help you. I would recommend you do. Everybody, if they're, as they go to rush to it, I'd recommend they don't necessarily just go and just try to get something. Get a complimentary, whatever you want to call it, conversation going on with Sissel, and just talk through it and make sure you're making the right thing, so you can say to yourself in a month, 2, 3, whatever it's going to take you, that, wow, I am just so glad I got my hands on this. And I can assure you that when you start doing it, you'll probably want to be on one of these videos saying, hey, let me tell you about what I just found, because it becomes a responsibility.
Yeah,
Exactly. And all Sissel's information will be in the description in the link below. So if you want to get hold of her and find out more about it, all the details for her and her contact details, the website, everything will be in the description below. Sissel and Jay, I want to just say thank you so much for joining me. It's been an incredible, knowledgeable conversation, because I just feel like, you know, we need to expand our horizons, and we need to take our lives in a completely different direction. And I think this is, you know, 2024 is a huge shifting year. It's a year where we shift and change, and it's the full moon today. So things are really shifting and changing. There's a lot of stuff happening in the world, and it's all for the better, because we finally going back to what we know to be true for ourselves.
Yeah, for sure. It's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time to be alive. And I think our creator, whatever one believes, whatever you define it as, calls it, that's up to you. But creation is giving us something to live younger, longer, and experiencing these changes now. Like, we get to really experience this. That's pretty cool. You'll see for yourself, everybody, when you do this. I mean, you know, we'll talk all day about this because we're passionate about it, but you'll find out for yourself once you do it and you start taking it and do this. Or when you do order it, we'll also be able to give you proper instructions. I know, as Sissel had mentioned, when you meet with her, she'll give you proper instructions on the best ways to use it, because there's a right way and there's not a right way, like anything in life, right? So Priscilla, thank you for bringing us into your world. We really appreciate it.
No, you're very
Thank you.
welcome. And Sissel, any final words from you?
Well, I think if you really, really want to experience youth again, I honestly think that people they both feel and look 10, 15, maybe even 20 years younger than they actually are. And it in itself, maybe that's not your goal, but I mean, waking up in the morning with energy and going to bed and really fall in deep sleep, that's really profound for an aging body. So yeah. And we all get one day older every day. So I think that's what we need to do. Thank you. I'll be looking forward to speak with somebody.
So I'd love, fantastic. And all her contact details will be in the description below. So I want to just say thank you very much from myself, Priscilla Gendron, and my wonderful co-host Jay from Spiritually Raw, and the ever amazing and very youthful looking Sissel Andersen. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you.
And good day. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.